Good evening, everyone, here in this beautiful circuit here in Sepang. We're at the Sepang International Circuit for what should be a cracking round for us to remember. Welcome, everyone, to the final split round of the 2023 Formula Hololive Japan season for Split A. And you gotta trust me when I say that there's gonna be some interesting battles going on, because we got 6 drivers still in contention to win this the split title, well, the Split A title amongst the Japan cars. And by the Japan cars, I mean the Japan class cars, of course. So anyways, let's take a look into the Sepang International Circuit for the last round of the split season. 5.54 kilometers here, 15 laps in total. Same track that we've raced here in the Hololive GT3 just a week prior. Instead of like 55 laps, well, sorry, 45 laps, we're gonna do 56 laps instead. Full F1 race distance, 305 kilometers. Looking at target lap times, we're looking at maybe a 1:47.531. But it's not within the realm of possibility. It's not outside the realm of possibility for some drivers to try to achieve a 1:46, a high 1:46 for that matter. It's also the split season finale, as we mentioned before. It's a former F1 and Super GT track. Obviously, with the with a track as esteemed as Sepang, it has hosted some high-level racing series before, Formula 1 included in the past. And speaking of high-class racing, we are going to have multi-class racing for this round. Obviously, we weren't able to finish out the Forfest Fuji round as well as we hoped for. So hopefully, we're gonna really tie some ends here with a proper livery car. It's basically in accordance to the Hololive members' bright uniforms' partial uniform variants, where they wear t-shirts over their bright idol uniforms. Obviously, you're going to see this in the front wings of these cars. You'll be seeing it in more detail come later as we get into this round. So anyways, let's take a look into the spotters guide for the Japan series. Apologies, is a bit too small, so let's sizen this up a bit. Let's just hope that everyone is able to view the list of cars that will be racing here in Split A and Split B. A total of 17 drivers have made their changes since we first announced for Formula Hololive. And obviously we have a lot of new faces as well. 17 of them in Japan, while 18 of them have still stayed the same from the announcement date earlier in 2022. And as for the international series, we have just about 9 driver replacements, with 7 of them remaining in their rides. And here it is right now. Look at the A logo on both the Japan International spotters guides. These are the cars that will be participating in tonight's race. You can pause it if you want, if you don't have time to view it, because we're gonna go straight forward into the Japan Formula Hololive Japan standings here to show you the current situation of the standings. Mamashaki Reza, representing Momosu Tsunene, currently leads the overall standings after round 3 of the season at Tokachi. Obviously having 2 wins in a row, just like his brother did in Split A. And also we got Daniel Barger, 2nd place in Formula Hololive, doing Hoshimachi Suisei very well. And for the Hoshiomis, obviously Suisei has been quite prideful in her bright uniform. So it's very much fitting that Barger is able to be inside the top 2 in the battle for Split B supremacy, if not overall supremacy in this case. Shazren is not far behind of his brother by under 22 points. If things go Shazren Reza's way this round, and if he wins here, Shazren Reza needs to win the race tomorrow if he wants to secure the Split B and overall title. Obviously, we got Callum Gibbons, Kaminari Reba, Ri Liu, Daniel Bauer, and Raijin Kaczynski making up the top 10, and these are the 6 drivers that will be competing for the Split A title. And here is the separate standing for each of the drivers, because Shakib Reza obviously Split B, but he got his brother Shazren Reza. If he can win this race, he'll have a shot of winning the overall title in addition to securing the Split A title. Callum Gibbons is currently in 2nd place, and for Callum Gibbons to win the title, he has to win this race and hope that Shazren Reza finishes behind him. Kaminari Reba, well, obviously he is a bit less straightforward, if you want to call him that, because Reba obviously needs results that go his way. He needs to hope that Shazren finishes 4th or lower, and for Gibbons to finish 3rd or lower. Ryu for Sakamata Chloe needs Shazren to finish 8th or lower, for Cal Gibbons to finish 6th or lower, and Omar Polka to finish 4th or lower, assuming Ryu wins this race in order for him to secure the Split A title. And for Daniel Bauer and Raja Kaczynski, both of them are currently at the low fringes of the title contention. For Daniel Bauer, he really just needs to hope that Shazren finishes 10th or lower, and a lot of the rivals to finish outside the top 5, with the exception of Ryu, who just needs to finish 3rd or lower, and assuming Daniel Bauer wins this race, for Bauer to secure a title. Raja Kaczynski is currently in a must-win scenario. He needs to hope that the Shazren Reza, Calvin Gibbons, and Kamina Reba finishes outside the top 5. Hope that Ryu finishes 3rd or lower, and hope that Daniel Bauer doesn't win this race. So we have 6 drivers really hot on the heels of title contention here in Sepang. So I'm very excited to see how this race will unfold. I'm Mama Shazren Reza in the commentary booth, and we're gonna go straight into this qualifying session to see who will be the king at Sepang. Now, if you want to know the context of the previous round of Hololive GT3, it's actually pretty interesting, because in the previous round, it is the Luna car that is gonna need to do a lot of work, while the Roboco car, or Callum Gibbons, just needs to put his head down and try to focus on winning that race. And win that race, Callum Gibbons did. He won his 2nd race of the Hololive GT3 season, and as a result have won both the Split A and overall Split titles in Hololive GT3. Can he do the same in Formula Hololive, beating Muhammad Shazren Reza, who has had a lot of form coming into this race? Obviously, he retired in Fuji. Not working well for him on that round after he spun out of the final corner. But he did rebound very well. He won at Autopolis. He also won at Tokachi with a superb strategy call. Moshe Reza were of course on board the number 31 Himimori Luna car. So currently the odds are in Shazren Reza's favor. He is in the driver's seat, literally as well. Now we're going to take a look into some of the other drivers here, especially for the EN and ID class cars, because they are currently enjoying it at the moment. They just want to enjoy the scenery with the JP class cars, as it should be. Anyways, Hector Bembe should have some familiar sights within the paddock as well. Hector Bembe used to drive for Takanashi Kiara in Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive, in particular the Fuji round. So Bembe is going to be racing against his former team and his former car. Will Hector Bembe have some weird feelings inside him in case there's anything to go by? We just don't know what's in Hector Bembe's mind, but let's just hope that that doesn't distract him too much and he is able to perform quite a professional race. Speaking of which, we're gonna go at the end of a lap for some of these drivers, and in particular one of the homegrown drivers of Ryu. So anyways, on board a number 96 Sakamata Chloe Toyota powered Formula Hololive car, obviously. Just wanted to hang on, just a bit of a short break here. Apologies here for the background audio again. So anyways, we just want to go for an onboard Ryu in the number 96 Sakamata Chloe Toyota powered Formula Hololive car. We've seen Ryu get into turn 1 and turn 2 just right before this 100 meter board, and you just want to take it easy into second gear on those first 2 corners, flat onto turn 3, right at around 170, between 175 meter boards into turn 4, and here comes the S, turns 5 and 6. He hangs it around in what should be in 5th gear, brings a lot of speed into, I think it's around 240, 250 kilometers an hour in these Formula Hololive cars. Into turn 7 and 8, double apex right-hander, he just holds on to 4th gear. Just shows you how fast these cars are compared to Hololive GT3. Coming into the timing being for the second sector here, just break before the 100 meter board for the Formula Hololive cars. So he's only like 7/10 off of the provisional pole time, 1:04.188. So really he just needs a lot of work to do if he wants to steal a lot of positions coming into the final sector. Turns 13 and 14, very tricky section to get right. You have to turn and brake at the same time, which unsettles the car quite a bit, especially if you are running an oversteer setup. So anyways, Ryu coming across the back straight. Just brake before the curve, and once you're in the middle of the access road, take it easy into like second gear to turn 15. And that is a lap here at Sepang, and that puts Ryu at a lap time 146.163. That puts him provisionally last. Shazren hasn't had his best laps at the moment, but that also is dependent on where Gibbons is. So Shazren currently trying to set his second lap here, and here's why Shazren has been struggling. Again, he comes out at one of the worst possible times. This is when he gets stuck in traffic. Anyways, we have a few other drivers here currently in this race. Corey Rico Mendez. Remember what we mentioned about Hector Bembe and Takanashi Kiara? Now, here's the driver that replaces him in this Kiara number 50 Formula 2 car. So, Corey Rico Mendez in his Formula Hololive debut for Takanashi Kiara have already set a lap there, a 5th best lap time out of anyone so far. So, very good stuff there from Corey Rico. Obviously debuting in this race, he is from the Philippines. But then again, he also has a companion, and that is Keiko Takaboshi. Let's just give all of you guys a round out on the debutants in this race. Meanwhile, Wawan Suharto currently setting the provisional pole time, 1:44.584. We did mention that expect 144s in this race. We were expecting high 144s, not mid 144s. And Wawan Suharto just showed that he's got a lot of pace. It's currently a mixed bag between the JP class and the EN class. Especially looking at there's a massive shuffle here. Now we have a Noe Flair front row lockout with Juan Suharto and Michael Turner representing Shiranoe Flair and Shirogane No respectively. And that also means that the Gen 3 front row lockout as it stands, as we're about to pass it through the middle of this qualifying session. Callum Gibbons is doing everything right at the moment because he currently qualifies 4th. And as it stands, with Shazren Reza currently down, Kaminari Riba nowhere to be seen, at least inside the top 5. He's currently in 10th. Shazren Reza is currently down in 14th place, still stuck behind traffic. And we have more drivers seeing their lap times ramp up. Callum Gibbons finally jumps up to 3rd. And speaking of which, Fabio Mendes in the Hakui Koyori car is now in the fringes of provisional pole. He has actually disrupted the Noe Flair Gen 3 front row lockout with a Gen 6 car in 2nd. More drivers completing their laps. I think that we have all 25 drivers who have set their lap times. So it's a good sight to see. So we're just going to go into a slight intermission here because we just wanted to sort some extra stuff. So we have a few drivers who have elected to return to the pits. We have seen Corey Rico Mendez come in as well. Hopefully we will be seeing some faster lap times, and hopefully they don't have some disruptive traffic. So let's just hope that they are not that disrupted in traffic. So yeah. Just wanted to check into the current situations here, especially in the top of the table. As we mentioned, Gibbons is currently in a good position to win the Split B championship as it stands. As far as results go, if it goes his way. And speaking of going someone's way, Fabio Mendes just sets a provisional pole time, 1:44.526, 0.05 of a second of a lap time faster than his next nearest opponent, that is Wawan Suharto, representing Shiranoe Flair. Fabio Mendes is really quickly acclimatizing himself in this ARO landscape with, especially in Formula Hololive. We do mention how Zeke Wimberly has been very excited about the prospects of Fabio representing Hakui Koyori. This is what he's talking about. Looking at Mendes right now, he's got a super fast car. But right now, as far as this race goes, Fabi Mendes should be able to take the spotlight. Meanwhile, for Ri Liu, it's not going the way of him at the moment. He's currently one of the slowest cars in this qualifying field. 1.4 seconds behind. That's not going to do his championship battle any favors. Meanwhile, Suharto again. Another driver responding with an even faster lap time qualifying. Look at the gap between Suharto and Mendes. Only 1,000th of a second separating between these two drivers. I think this has got to be some of the most unprecedented moments in the ARO history. We have seen close lap times, but not to this extent. 1,000th of a second separating between the front row. That just shows you how competitive Formula Hololive can be. Shazren, of course, is about to cross the line and has already did actually, coming across the first 3 corners to really push his lap and to push the boundaries of this Himori Luna ride. He's already 3/10 up his previous time. His previous time is currently only good enough for him to be 15th. He needs to be further up to challenge Callum Gibbons for the Formula Hololive Japan title. Oh yeah, speaking of debutants, let's also talk about some of the few other debutants in this field. In particular, let's talk about Ethan Bertelsen, well, not really. And yeah, Hector Bembe, debuting for Kazama Iroha in Formula Hololive, replacing Gruffin Wheatley. That's why he had to vacate his Takanashi Kiara ride. But other than that, there hasn't been any big changes here. Miyamoto jumps up to 8th place. We have seen a few more drivers making very quick lap times here. Shazren Reza is currently on a roll here. Let's just see where his second sector goes. He's actually fastest in both the first and second sectors, and if he continues his run, he might actually just disrupt everyone and be in front of basically everyone come the end of this qualifying session. Shazren Reza about to cross the final corner, turn 15. Shazren knows that he has to do something here in Formula Hololive after losing out in Hololive GT3. 1:42.343. What is in this car? This is an amazing lap from Shazren Reza to put his car on provisional pole with such an amazing lap. Everyone is in stunned silence because where did he get his lap? Because if we look into the inspections here, the Formula Hololive Japan cars are receiving ballast for this round in order for these cars to be competitive with the Formula 2 cars, which is run by the EN and ID class cars. And to see Shazren Reza run at this quick of a lap while also meeting the weight ballast requirements, it's just crazy. And now with Shazren Reza finally being able to be stuck in traffic, it's not going to see much improvements, but that won't matter. That wouldn't matter to him because he is currently very much comfortable in pole position. I don't know if there will be any other driver that is able to compete against Shazren Reza's insane lap time. And we did put this car into tech inspection. At least that's what I hear from some of the inspectors on site, and they say that the car is definitely on the limits when it comes to weight ballast. 60 kilos for every Formula Hololive Japan car. And even then, Shazren is just crazy fast. And obviously Shazren doesn't improve on that lap. That has got to be one of the craziest and actually best qualifying laps we have ever seen in ARO history. 2 seconds faster than second place is never to be scoffed at. Speaking of nothing to be scoffed at, Rim Olgord is currently setting his 5th fastest lap time. Obviously doing whatever he can to bring the Ozura's Bar name to relevance. And speaking of relevance here, Callum Gibbons knows he's got a lot of work to do. Some people actually, I heard that someone is actually screaming of race fixing or something, but no, all the cars that have passed through inspection before qualifying have met minimum weight requirements. 60 kilos extra for all the JP cars should mean that Shazren Reza should be in the clear. It's just that Shazren just somehow clicks in his home race. Speaking of which, let's take a look into the order for the International Series cars and who's fastest in the International Series roster. Corey Rico Mendez with 144.772. He is currently the fastest out of the EN class members. Keiko Takaboshi in her first race for Crazy Oli. She is currently second fastest in the International Series class, fastest in ID. And meanwhile, looking into this lopsided qualifying session between Shazren Reza versus the rest of the grid, Shazren Reza is just unstoppable. Oh, Shazren Reza. Oh, there's a contact between Shazren Reza and... Oh, I think that's got to be some of the other drivers, because Shazren Reza actually attempted coming into the pits and he was on the inside and there was a bit of a collision. Weird stuff that has happened. So anyways, with that Shazren Reza coming into the pits, there's only like 12 cars left to finish this qualifying session here. It's a bit crazy to knowing what has happened. So we're just gonna need to do a bit of a replay once we are about to finish this qualifying session, just to know what has happened in this end of this qualifying session. Right now, Shazren Reza have stolen the headlines for both the right and wrong reasons. That's just crazy. First of all, setting a lap time 2.1 seconds faster while also meeting minimum weight requirements is unheard of, especially in today's motorsport standards. But meanwhile, Hector Bembe, we mentioned that Hector Bembe wants to improve wants to go out, start off his stint because of Iroha with a bang. He's now placed that Iroha car second, bumping down Suharto and Mendez off of the front row. We are looking to see a few more cars finishing this session. I think Juan Suharto is the last car out, and Juan Suharto is currently about to cross the line. And without a way, the qualifying session should come to an end. And look at Kayumov getting 6th place. And I don't think there's going to be any changes. And that's it for qualifying. So apologies if we aren't able to get into the replay soon enough. But that's because we are just wanted to sort out the situation. But I think it's mostly a case of Shazren Reza wanted to go to the pits from the inside line, and Isakaiji Mikalev wanting to continue hot lapping in the Sakaramiko car on the outside. Both of them made contact. Shazren Reza and Isakaiji Mikalev pushing each other into the outside exit of the final corner. What a weird disqualifying session. So anyways, let's take a look into the starting lineup here. We promise you that it's going to be quite the interesting moments here at the moment. We're going to also take a look into the timetable as well. So anyways, let's look at the pole sitter of the night, Mohamed Shazren Reza. For Himemori Luna, he's currently going to start on pole position with an amazing lap, 142.343 against a 144.451. Shazren Reza strikes first in this championship battle, obviously with the white front wing that commemorates the partial versions of the bright idol uniforms, and also everyone else in the field, while some of them are running black. Shazren Reza and Hector Bembe grace the front row here in Sepang. Hector Bembe in his first Formula Hololive start for Kazama Iroha, he's currently in second. So great stuff from him. And then we have the Shiranui Flare car by Wawan Suharto. He's starting third in the Shiranui Flare car. He's looking to try to have his second points finish of the season after finishing second at Fuji. Fourth place, Fabio Mendes for Hakui Koyori. He's going to try to light something on fire, and that should be him being either in podium position or winning this race outright. Callum Gibbons needs to have some work to do. He needs to pass Shazren Reza and take this win away from him if he wants to steal the Split A title. He currently starts fifth for Roboco. Suri Kaimov surprised a lot of people by having a late qualifying steal of 6th place. She currently sits on the second part of the third row for Laplace Darkness. For Ozora Subaru, Rim Olgor sets his car in 7th place. Michael Turner alongside him in 8th. In car number 08, Shirogane Noel. Corey Rico Mendez is the first EN/ID class car, the first International Series car to be classified in this qualifying session after the first A. He represents Takanashi Kara in his first Formula Hololive race. And we've got Daniel Bauer inside the top 10 for Yozo Ramel. The Keiko Takaboshi in her first Formula Hololive start representing Kreiji Oli. She starts 11 alongside her fellow female Makoto Miyamoto. Starts 12 for Tsunamaki Watame. Santi Olivares starts 13 for Watson Amelia. Let's see if he can survive more than one lap. Crystal Salman, Isagaji Mikolev, I think he was involved with Shazren Reza at the end of this qualifying session. He starts 14 for the Sakura Miko. Crystal Salman in the ASCII car will start 15th alongside Kaminari Riba in 16th place. Also not in a good position for him to challenge the Split A title. John Mead and Jeremy Assam, 81 and 17, representing Hakai Hato and Nino Namai and Nanis respectively. They make up row 9. And on row 10, it is Ethan Bertelsen in 19 for Nanashi Mume and Robert Kurisha for Takane Loi in 20th. Getting into the 11th row, Aziz Moazev and Raiji Kaczynski start 21st and 22nd respectively for Raiji Kaczynski. This is not the position he wants, given his potential championship battle. Tirana Svobodova, the last EN/ID class car of the field, the last International Series car currently on the grid. She will start 23rd. Ho Fumi 24th. Fumi's struggles in Formula Hall I just kind of continue mid-pack right now. Mid-pack in the Split A standings is currently at the back here in Sepang. And in 25th, Ri Liu, again apologies for the wrong flag. He's actually Malaysian. Ri Liu for Sakamata Chloe in his home race will start last. Looking into the rundown of home drivers, we got 3 of them in the field right now. Ri Liu, obviously the lowest here. Obviously, the grid has been bookended by Malaysians. Very interesting to see where this race pans out. So with that out of the way, we're just gonna prepare the start line procedures. And remember, I just wanted to remind everyone that only the JP class classification will be used to determine points for the final count of points. So if we see some international series cars finish inside the top 15, that may skew the points positions for just a while. So with that out of the way, with the disclaimers being done and dusted, let's get this race underway for what should be the final Split A race of the Formula Hololive Japan season for Split A. Shazren Reza currently lines up on pole, and alongside him is in second place, and you can see here Shazren Reza. Not the start he has been looking for, and everyone's been bunching up. Oh, a lot of calamity and carnage on the first lap. That's not the start everyone has been looking for. And with a lot of carnage here, we are going to announce a red flag. So we're gonna restart the race all over again. Hopefully there will be none of this again. The race will restart from lap 1. So basically the first start attempt is going to be aborted. So with that out of the way, let's restart this race again. We're gonna restart from lap 1. So anyways, let's take it away from here. Shazren Reza back onto this second race start attempt. Shazren Reza lining up on pole with Hector Bembe alongside him in second, and it's not going to change. Shazren Reza, and there's a lot of drivers piling into each other. So much chaos at the start, and this time it's even worse with more drivers piling in. That's the Subaru car currently on its on the side of the track here because some of the drivers wanted to get out. Shazren Reza really wanting to continue, but he's got a lot of suspension damage. We're gonna red flag the session once again. Just wanted to check what's the issue because that is not how it's supposed to go. So Okay, let's do this race start again. Hopefully there's no hiccups here, because for some reason there has been some crazy shenanigans here. Let's just do this start attempt number 3. If these drivers keep crashing, then we're gonna have to take some extended break for us to try to clean up the mess and to try to get the 4th race start on the way. So, okay, take 3. Here we go. Shazren Reza on pole position. Hector Bembe in 2nd place. Let's just hope that the race just doesn't come to absolute carnage. I'm not going to be too confident. Unfortunately, the same results have happened. Oh, a bit of a pile-up. It's a bit cleaner. And it looks like everyone should be able to get themselves back into position. But at the cost of Shazren Reza, I have no idea what's happened with him at the moment, but it's gone from bad to worse for the Malaysian, as now Hector Bembe leads this race over Fabio Mendes, Wawan Suharto in 3rd, Kayumov 4th, Gibbons 5th, Turner 6th, Mendes 7th, Bauer 8th, Olgor 9th, and Miyamoto running out of the top 10. Not what Shazren Reza was hoping for. He is still trying to... Yeah, he is currently having problems with his car. He currently just tries to get his car back up in a straight line. And right now, he's still stranded in the middle of this track. And I think the car has finally stopped. And that means Shazren Reza is officially going to DNF in this race. Shazren Reza was hoping very much, hoping for a lot in this title fight, and now it's going to come down to absolutely nothing. 3 starts in a row, 3 malfunctions in a row. As again, we're seeing a battle between Mead and Waze for 20th. The season for the Himori Lunar team and car, and for the driver, has been very much up and down. Shazren Reza has retired in the 1st and 4th rounds of Formula Hololive Japan, while also basically retiring, while also winning the 2nd and 3rd races. He either wins or crashes out, which is absolutely insane for Shazren's standards. And now looking at Shazren, who is going to finish last in this race and out of title contention, that has got to be very painful for him. More battles between a lot of drivers here. Bertelsen and Kerwish are side by side for 16th place. Svobodova and Kaczynski was stealing a bit of position here, but now it's going to be between Kaczynski, Fumi, and Svobodova. Lap 2 of this race, and the race is just getting started, even though we're going to have to miss out on just one, and that has been the championship leader. One of the favorites to win the Split A title have now... the chance have now goes a begging for Shazren Reza, who have lost out on a chance to win the split and overall split titles for both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive. That has got to blow. Anyways, looking into the top of the standings here, Hector Bembe is controlling this race very well for Kazama Iroha. We have not seen a Hololive car lead this race, let alone lead with such dominance from Bembe. He currently leads the field, exiting turn 14, 1 lap complete. And looking into some of the other battles here, there is a good amount of them. And as you can see here, Corey Rico Mendes and that Takana Shikiara car is going to go down the inside of Callum Gibbons. It may not be lost on Shazren Reza if he wants to win this championship, but he has got to hope that his championship rivals don't finish higher than he really wanted. Because right now, looking into the current situation here, the gap between Shazren Reza and Callum Gibbons is only 24 points. And looking into the battle between Miyamoto and Olivares here, if you want to enjoy it. Speaking of Olivares. Anyways, just wanted to confirm back. The gap between 1st and 2nd, Shazren Reza and Callum Gibbons, is only 24 points. So, if we do our championship permutations alright, Callum Gibbons just needs what should be 10th or higher for Callum Gibbons to secure the Split A title. And obviously, Callum Gibbons needs the Split B race to go his way as well if he wants to win the overall Split title as well. But for now, it's a matter between Callum Gibbons, Ryu Raji Kaczynski, and then we also have Daniel Bauer and Kaminari Riba. And right now, as it stands, Callum Gibbons will win the Split A Formula Hololive Championship for 2023. For all of you who just tuned in, we have to apologize for all the Lunites watching. It just wasn't meant to be for Shazren Reza. Suspension failure after suspension failure after suspension failure had forced Shazren Reza off from starting very well in this race. After starting from pole and after having such an amazing qualifying run, and speaking of good runs in the single lap pace, Hector Bembe just sets the fastest lap in this race for Kazama Iroha with a 1:45.5. Meanwhile, there's more battles brewing, this time between Michael Turner and Daniel Bauer. Both of them are battling side by side for position 8. It's the 08 versus 66. And it's Michael Turner that I think should be ahead. Yeah, Daniel Bauer is already ahead. But right now, Rim Olgor is battling with Michael Turner. There's still a lot of battles here in Sepang. And the Sepang Grand Prix. Forgot to mention to you that this is the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. That's why we're racing at 56 laps. Looking into the rest of the field, Kayumov has had a pretty good start from 6th, taking advantage of Shazren Reza's rude chance and crazy start of the race. She now sits 4th in what should be her best position in her ARO career up to this point. Juan Suarto currently hanging on to 3rd place. Kayumov is getting close, but she's not really close enough here. 4 laps. Well, 4 laps are about to be complete. We're on lap 4. 3 laps are currently complete. Actually, make that 4. And looking into some of the potential battles and potential pit stop strategies, we have now brought back our favorite race fuel monitor. So apologies, we need to pull up the apps tray. So let's take a look into the race field monitor to see who is going to pit first and who is going to pit later on in this race. Just wanted to get the screen up here. Just put it on the side of the screen. Looking into some of the drivers here, we are going to be seeing a massive variance in strategy. Looking at Hofumi, he's going for the overcut strategy, the aggressive overcut strategy. He's looking to pit on lap 45 to try to jump up the rest of the field. We has worked out for Salman in the Hololive GP3 race at Fuji, the Split A race. Will it work out for Furumi? Meanwhile, Spovodova and Kurwisha just traded blows, with Spovodova finally getting up into 19th place. And looking at the drivers that might want to pit earlier, Aziz Muaziv might be the guy that might pit early, but I feel like he's going to pit way too early, and he might have to do a second pit stop, and that's not going to do his race any favors. So looking into the Formula Hololive Japan standings here, Shazren Reza currently sits last in class, 18th. And looking into the rest of the field, we are looking into 15 drivers that are possibly going to score points, up down to Kaczynski in 15th place. Remember, the EN and ID class cars aren't eligible to score points in this race due to their status as guests. So we're just going to take a look into this standings to determine who is going to score the points for the Formula Hololive Japan battle. Anyways, more battles between a lot of drivers. You can see here, you can see Aziz Muaziv versus Ethan Bertelsen side by side. It's the Mume versus Risu car. It's the battle for what should be 16th place. The Risu car gets to the outside. The Mume car gets in on the inside. That's going to swap places into turn 2. Oh, there might be contact there. Bertelsen really just hanging on to his position there to hang on to 16th place. Meanwhile, Gibbons and Mendes try to trade blows, but Gibbons manages to defend 5th place. Remember, as it stands, Colin Gibbons will win the Split A championship for Formula Hololive Japan in this Sepang Grand Prix race. So Colin Gibbons just needs to finish ahead of Kaminari Riba, just needs to finish ahead of Raiju Kaczynski, Daniel Bauer, and Rui Liu. He's currently doing it right now, and he's currently in a position to win the Split A title. Suharto and Kayuma battling side by side coming into turn 12. Oh, you can see here. Oh, Suharto, I think attacked way too hard. And I think that forces him to spin and basically get his car collected into the gravel. And I think that's our second crash of the night. That's Juan Suharto, another promising guy up front, crashing. Crazy first few laps here in this Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. We have seen a lot of things. We have seen accidents. We have also seen incidents. And right now, Kayumov and Juan Suharto went side by side at turn 12, and that resulted in Suharto basically spinning himself out. And I think he's already out of this race, but he manages to continue, thank goodness. But man, that has got to be a crazy spin. It was Swoboda trying to find a way past Moazif in that number 15 Irania 15 car. Looks like the battle is still on there on board that number 15 car. And I think he is just ahead, and I think the battle has been dispersed. Moazif stays ahead of Swobodova. Matic first few laps, true. We're just on lap 7, we're just getting started. 24 cars left in this race. And right now, we're looking at a Holux 1-3. Actually, no, it's a Holux 1-2-3. Look at the current standings here right now. Hector Bembis currently representing Kazama Iroha. Fabio Mendes currently representing Hakui Koyori. And Seri Kayama representing Laplace Darkness. These 3 cars represent the Secret Society Holux members. And if it continues this way, it will be an amazing rebound for the Holux cars who just started racing this season. And coupled with Robert Kiwisha, who is currently in 19th, and Rui Liu in 23rd, it's currently pretty polarizing for the Holux team. 3 cars currently in the top 3, and the other 2 in the fringes of the outer reaches of the points. Seri Kayamov then continues to shine in this race here in Sepang. Currently sets the fastest lap of this race, 145.3 if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, 8 laps complete. We're looking to complete what should be 7. We should be completing 7 times more laps in this race. Obviously, we passed 1/7 race distance. Let's see how it accrues in the next few laps. The race is still pretty much young, so right now the eyes are currently set on Moazif. Moazif is set to be the first driver to pit, but because I think he put in too little fuel, he'll have to fill in a bit in his first stop and then fill it to the max in the second stop, losing him a lot of time, and that's not going to do him much favors. Oh, you can see here Svobodova and Bertelsen might just want to have a 2 for tango coming into turn 9. Bertelsen doesn't see it as a threat. Bertelsen just carries on. Shazren Reza has had his response of this Formula Hololive race. This Formula Hololive race is actually worse than the Hololive GT3 race here in Sepang. In both of these races, Shazren is hoping to try to have his luck to win the Split A title for both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive, and both of them goes a begging for him. Meanwhile, there's a battle between Svobodova and Bertelsen going side by side in the main straight. Who's gonna edge ahead in the turn one? Svobodova just goes slightly off wide. Just wanting to find a lot of space here. Bertelsen and Svobodova still side by side. Svobodova and Bertelsen still side by side coming into turn 3. Svobodova has the outside line and the momentum, but he gets pushed off slightly by Ethan Bertelsen. Bertelsen manages to defend 16th place. It's Bembe, Mendes, and Kayamov in control of this Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. Right now, it's a case of nothing going wrong for these three at the moment. Callum Gibbons in 5th place, 4th in class, and he's looking to just cruise his way into another Split A title. Callum Gibbons has been pretty unstoppable in the ARO. Not just in Hololive GT3, but in Formula Hololive as well. In Hololive GT3, he's had 2 wins and has seen one of the most dominant wins in Hololive GT3 history. In Formula Hololive, he's only second behind Shazren Reza, but he manages to still be in it to win it despite the issues that have befell the Malaysian driver in that number 31 car. More battles with this Svobodova, and Bertelsen. Svobodova has stolen 16th place back from Bertelsen, but Bertelsen having the slipstream. Bertelsen is going to try to dive bomb down the inside of Svobodova. And will there be a response from Bertelsen again? The answer is going to still be no. Looks like Aziz Muazif have overtaken Christoph Salmaman for 14th place. Rim Olgar and Michael Turner have swapped places, so Olgar's now up to 7th. Again, more action. There's a lot of action here in Sepang. We just aren't able to record all of these at the same time. That just shows you how good the quality of racing here is. Bembe is still managing this race with a relative calmness on his head. 3.4 seconds between him and Mendes. Kayumov is not far behind in 3rd place. We're gonna take a short break on laps 13 and 14 to rest the throat. Just wanted to remind everyone of that. While we are just gonna try to remind everyone of the current situation here at Sepang, the Sepang Grand Prix race. Aziz Muazif is currently being called into the pits. The fuel level for him has gone way too low, so it's Muazif's call for himself to get into the pits, otherwise he will lose fuel. Daniel Bauer getting closer to Callum Gibbons, but will there be a move? Daniel Bauer, also obviously one of the title contenders in Hololive GT3. Bauer trying to find pace against Gibbons. The speed trap just shows that Bauer just doesn't have too much pace at the main straight here, and we have our first pit lane activity of the night. Aziz Muazif comes in from what should be 16th place. Let's just hope the overcut strategy does well for Muazif. And right now, he is still currently having his car stopped and serviced. And it looks like Aziz Muazif is going to pit until the end of this race. So he has had his pit stop predictions absolutely spot on. But let's just see how much he's going to fall off at the end of this race. Remember, he has a gap to Suharto, which is currently set at 17 seconds. So he's going to steal a lot of time on this undercut strategy. By coming into the end of this race, he is definitely going to be a sitting duck, because he's definitely used up a lot of tires and he's not going to pit again. That is assuming that he doesn't pit again. Because so, and again, an interesting strategy for Muazzez that is quite the opposite from what we're seeing from Shazren Reza and his brother Shakif, of course. Bembe is currently in control. Bembe is currently in control, already 5/10 faster than Mendes. That's half a second. Sorry, that's half a second faster. So Bembe is definitely bossing this race. And look at the pace difference between the top 5, well, his group's inside the top 5, and the rest of the field. The field is definitely spread between each other, and so let's see how it unfolds for the rest of them. Hector Bembe used to drive this car to some pretty decent finishes. I think he finished inside, just outside the top 20 back at Fuji. But right now, Koirico Mendes is showing a lot of pace in that Takanashi Kiara car, obviously being a KFP member himself. He is looking to try to do something Hector Bembe couldn't in Formula Hololive. Michael Turner it's clear Michael Turner is definitely slower than the drivers at the back, and he's causing a train forming, and with that Michael Turner just might need to do something in order to basically keep his chances of it being inside the top 10 alive, because right now Takaboshi, in her Formula Hololive debut, she is doing very well in 9th place. Hector Bembe have just crossed the start-finish line to start lap 13. We're going to go for a short break. We'll be returning at around lap 14 and lap 15 to continue our coverage of the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race of the 2023 Formula Hololive Japan season. Back here in Sepang for the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. Apologies for that tongue twister. Again, one-man commentary booth. It can only do so much. Anyways, we still have Hector Bembe leading this race, and looking into the pit stop graphics, it's still one driver who have pitted, and that is Aziz Muazzez, currently sitting in last place. And he is not doing much to catch up to Ri Liu at the moment. Looking into the timetable here, Aziz Muazzez is catching up to Ri Liu, but is actually not much faster than Wawan Suharto. But he's definitely faster than some of the drivers at the back, so Muazzez might just be able to steal a few positions and maybe challenge for that top 10 spot. Suri Kayamov currently in 3rd place for Laplace Darkness, And right now, can she try to mount a charge against her fellow Hololive teammate Fabio Mendes? And for anyone who is quite intrigued to see how the trophy looks like for the Split A champion, just wanted to show you this sick trophy that we have made. Here is a trophy for the 2023 Split A champion. Obviously, we got the Super Formula car in display here. And you can see here in its wireframe glory, and with its pedestal saying for the 2023 Split A champion. This will be given to the winner of Formula Hololive Japan for the 2023 season. And obviously, we also have versions for the Split B drivers. This is for tomorrow's race, and whoever is ahead whoever finishes first in the overall standings and in the overall split standings will be awarded the overall split champion trophy. It's the best of both worlds. Got both blue and orange. Definitely something to look out for all of the drivers participating. All the JV class drivers participating in this Formula Hololive race. So, anyways, getting back into this race. And we do agree that some of the shots here in Sepang is beautiful, and especially for that uphill hairpin shot. I believe you either mean looking into cars entering turn 4 or turn 9, but whatever the case is, Sepang provides a very good amount of picturesque scenes. But right now, in terms of racing, it's definitely calmed down. Wasif isn't really setting the world on fire with his lap. Obviously, he has so much in his fuel tank that he is actually being slowed by set fuel. Looking at the next driver that made pit, Crystal Salomon, is also looking to commit to an undercut strategy, as well as Fabio Mendes and Hector Bembe, as well as Corey Rico Mendes and Jeremy Aston. These drivers are going to be the next drivers that might want to try an undercut strategy to try to, you guessed it, undercut their opponents. Right now, the pit window hasn't really opened, but obviously we got some of these drivers trying to just hang around the circuit. We have Fabio Mendes and Suri Kayoma battling for what should be second place. All of the cars in this round have either black or white front wings with the Our Bright Parade pattern at the front noses of the car. This is to reflect the Hololive members' closing performances in both days 1 and 2, where they basically took out much of the top design and replaced it with a t-shirt. That's why we're doing it right now. We did this before in the Suzuka Hololive GT3 race for the third fest. We're doing it here in Sepang for Formula Hololive. Suharto and Kaczynski battling between each other for 20th place. Suharto trying to defend 20th place on the outside, which will be the inside line, but Raji Kaczynski just has the better momentum. Kaczynski is now up to 20th place. There was a battle between Spovodova and Salomon, and now Spovodova is looking to steal maybe another position for her to take. Just love that V6 engine roars from each of these cars, don't you all? So anyways, Corey Rico Mendes doing very well for Takanashi Kiara in the International Series standings. Obviously, Corey Rico Mendes isn't going to score points, but he will have bragging rights as the EN class winner. But right now, the stronghold that is the Hololive 1, 2, 3 is currently unpenetrable. We're still looking at very, very fast lap times between Bembe, Mendes, and Kayumov. Mendes might not have a chance to catch up as much. Oh yeah, there had been some questions from Kiara herself. She has had mentions that does she want to play FIFA 23? Some people want to go for yes, some people want to go for no. Whatever the case is, it's Kiara's option if she wants to play FIFA 23. And as we posted on the Adak-RMS Twitter, and yes, I know how to mod FIFA 23 to an extent, especially on replacing some songs. But let's talk about that later, because Raji Kaczynski is currently enthralled in the battle between Wawan Suharto. Wawan Suharto just re-overtaken Raji Kaczynski. Obviously, Juan Suharto is on a comeback run of his own. He is currently trying to get himself back up into relevance. Obviously, in terms of pit stop here, Kaczynski, Suharto, and every other driver haven't really made their first and only pit stop. Only Mazzi have done it. So this means that Juan Suharto is literally just climbing his way back into the top 10. Remember, he has a car that is good enough for the front row, but with a spin against Kayumov battling for what should be third place, Suharto has now dropped down to what was 24th place, but he's now up to 20th after making passes onto Ryu, Hofumi, and Juan Suharto. His next target is currently John Meade. Right now, as it stands, Callan Gibbons will win the Split A title for the Formula Hololive Japan 2023 split season. Olivar is really doing very well there. He's currently in 9th place for Watson Amelia. He has had a lot of crashes during his time in Formula Hololive representing Amelia. So to see him complete 18 laps thus far, or rather 17 laps thus far, has been a pleasurable sight to see if you are a teammate. So anyways, we might see another battle here between Svobodova and Salmaman. Salmaman just keeps dropping a few positions here. Svobodova is charging her way into relevancy, and by relevancy I mean the top 10. More battles between Meade and Kaczynski. More battles between Suharto and Kaczynski. As you can see here, Suharto tries to fight back against Kaczynski, but this time Kaczynski manages to steal 20 away from Wawan, which just means that each of these two cars are equally paced. There's still a good amount of racing here in Formula Hololive in the Sepang Grand Prix race, the Split A race. Does this have more good racing in it? And as you may have noticed, the Splash Party sponsorship here to promote the Summer 2023 Live that will be hosted next week. And obviously it's going to be under a paywall, 7,000 yen for each ticket each. Why did I say each twice? So anyways, we're also going to be doing an invitational race using Holo cross-kart rules. Watch out for that. And we have confirmation that Hector Bembe have finally come into the pits to have his car serviced. But meanwhile, we have Fabio Mendez and Sergei Kayumov currently inheriting the top 2 spots. Callan Gibbons is in a more comfortable position to stay up. And now we also have Corey Rico Mendez pitting from a top 5 position overall, leading the in-series class and leading the EN class at that. He's pitting very quickly. I think this just means that... Oh, never mind that. He just had a very quick pit stop here. These Formula 2 cars are also known to have some very quick fuel transfer methods. So anyways, Fabio Mendes exits in 14th place. Not a lot of time lost. Let's see if he can stay in relevant position to everyone else. Nikolaev currently in 13th place for Sakura Miko. It's a pretty okay season for him, at least in Formula Hololive standards. He's currently mid-table, outside of top 20, but he does provide some good results every now and then. But anyways, looking into the drivers who have already pitted, he has actually beaten the likes of Hector Bembe, who have to pit for quite some time. He's currently down in 23rd. But to note as well, you can see here Sergei Kayumov also coming into the pits. More pit activity is coming as we are about to approach the halfway stage of this race. Callan Gibbons is currently the favorite to win the championship after Shazren have crashed at the start of this race. Let's see where Callan Gibbons exits. For Callan Gibbons to not win the championship, he needs to finish 11th or lower. And for everyone else to finish outside the top 5. That is what Shazren is hoping in order for him to still win the Split A title regardless of results. You see here more right battles coming in at the back. Juan Suharto against Raijin Kaczynski again. And now this time Fumi is looking to get into the groove as well. Ri Liu and Jeremy Assam just hanging around in 21st and 22nd. We have some few drivers who just got out, who just got back out. In particular, we have Suri Kayumov, first driver to get out. She exits in 18th. And then we have Tirana Vodova exiting in 20th. Callan Gibbons isn't able to beat Hector Bemba in terms of pit strategy. Well, not yet at least, but Gibbons does have some ace up in sleeve. And now we also have confirmation that Salman have also come into the pit. He has just got out of his pit stall, and he will be the new driver to inherit second last place. Obviously, Shazren Reza have crashed out at the start of this race after 3 attempts. So it just wasn't meant to be for him. Fabio Mendes currently leads this race for Hakui Koiri in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. 20 laps complete. We still have around 36 laps to go. Michael Turner currently in 6th place, trying to find some opening, but right now there is no opening for him to steal or to take. So Turner is currently just hanging around in 6th place, just hanging as usual, just hanging out with his fellow drivers at front and at the back. Obviously, he also has Makoto Miyamoto, who's having a very good race by Formula Hololive standards for Makoto. He is currently one of the only few drivers who is in single digits in the Formula Hololive Japan standings, especially overall. So Miyamoto really needs a good result here for her to get into double digits. And we have Kaczynski and Suharto battling side by side once again. Southeast Asia versus South Asia. And then we have the Shiranoe Flare car versus the Yuzuki Choco car. It is currently the latter that wins. Raja Kaczynski from India, from South Asia, representing Yuzuki Choco. He now steals 14th place. Keiko Takaboshi in her Hololive GT3 debut is doing very well there for Craigioli, currently sitting 4th place in that number 13 car. Will there be more surprises? Because right now, looking into some of the surprises here, we're looking at guys like Rico Mendes who have had a very quick pit stop. But will tire fall off be a thing? Because right now, as for Rico Mendes, if he wins overall, that could be a massively huge upset even for the JP class cars as standards. And meanwhile, Ri Liu might have some slight spins here. It has been overtaken by Kayumov. Fabio Mendes have finally come into the pits. And right now, if you excuse me, apologies for the background noises here. There have been some cheering for a football game. Anyways, Fabio Mendes have finally come into the pits to have his car service. Rico Mendes is going to exit this, is going to pass through the main straight with no problem, but will tire wear be an issue? Fabio Mendes just exits in a net 2nd place, so Fabio Mendes really haven't lost out a lot of time. So looking into the strategy, you might just want to overcut, because if you overcut, you might have spent a lesser amount of time in the pits, and that is what is currently being done by some of the drivers here, especially for Fabio Mendes, who have actually jumped up of the previous race leader, that is Hector Bemba. He's now stuck in 21st. Santi Olivar is currently in 4th place for Watson Amelia. Has never been this high up in any of the races he has entered in Hololive GT3, in Formula Hololive. Right now, Olivar is just going to try to relish in this moment before he has to inevitably pit. Looking into the tire wear, there's been a good amount of wear in the front right, because we have a lot of these fast left-handers that obviously torture your left side tires. Daniel Bauer just sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.102. Looking at the pit stops here, we are looking at Mendez and Mendez in 9th and 10th. One is with the Z and one's with the S. The one with the Z is for Takanashi Kara, one with the S is for Hakui Koiri. And then we have Suri Kayama for Lapless Darkness, who have also made a pit stop. Looking at a few drivers who have lost out on a big time is Hector Bembe and Callum Gibbons, pinning quite early, thinking that they could get their tires warmed up, but they aren't having a good amount of tire warm up. So right now they have lost time as they exit the pit lane. So the championship is still currently wide open, and as it stands, with Bauer winning this race, there needs to be some results that need to go his way. For Daniel Bauer to win this championship, meanwhile this is a battle between Asim and Liu, he needs to hope that Shazren finishes 8th or low. He's already retired. The Roboco car is currently outside the points, and Omar Polka car finishing 4th or lower. And looking at where Kaminari Riba is, Bauer is currently in a position to win the Split A title. Ryu and Asim still side by side between each other. And I think we have some extra news as well. We might be seeing a driver replacement coming in, as Jeremy Asim might just be replaced by what should be a new driver in the coming weeks. It should apply after the Holo cross-kart race next week at Sugo. Meanwhile, we have confirmation Daniel Bauer has come into the pits. So let's take a look into where Fabio Mendez and Corey Rico Mendez are at the moment. Fabio Mendez is currently at turns 13 and 14. Mendez is currently at the back straight coming into turn 15. And coupled with Daniel Barger is the Rim Olgor in the pit lane, pitting in for Ozoras Bauer. He currently enjoys his brief time at the front. And now, looking into Corey Rico Mendez, who is about to cross the start-finish line. Daniel Bauer is still stuck in the pit lane. He's just got out, but he has been passed by Corey Rico Mendez, and now we have confirmation. But will he exit ahead of Fabio Mendez? It's close, but Fabio Mendez just manages to stay ahead of Bauer. And right now, it's definitely game on here for the remaining 5 drivers in this championship battle. Liu might just still be in it if he can string together a good result and hope that his rivals just fall off on the wayside. Right now, Daniel Bauer is one of the basically long shots to win the Split A championship. If you want to know the differences between Daniel Bauer and Mohamed Shakib Reza, coming into this round, he is basically about 130 plus points, or around 130 points behind Shazren Reza. And now with Shazren Reza retiring from this race, and with Callum Gibbons not scoring points, he just needs to hope that Kaminai Riba, once he pits, finishes in a low enough position for Bauer to steal the Split A title. We talked about improbable championship battles here before. We have seen Alan Kowicki in 1992. Despite being an owner driver, a pure owner driver, he wins the 1992 NASCAR Cup Series in the 1992 season. We've also talked about some improbable championship battles that come naturally. Can't remember much in Formula 1, but we do remember Alan Kowicki. But meanwhile, we have Michael Turner and Makoto Miyamoto battling side by side. And also we have a battle for the race league on our hands. Santi Olivares and Keiko Takaboshi. Turner and Miyamoto are also battling side by side between each other for what should be battle for third. Miyamoto's on the inside, but Michael Turner has the better momentum on the outside. Will the battle continue coming into turn 4? Not yet as it stands, but it is getting pretty close onto the front portion of the field as they have yet to pit. Takaboshi has been known to be very good in sim racing in these areas, but in real life she has announced that she's putting down her glove. She's putting down her wheel in her sim racing escapade. She's taking a short hiatus from virtual racing. So Takaboshi now is still technically still here in Formula Hololive, and she's now leading this race. So good stuff to see. And looking into the battle between the two Mendezes, Rico Mendez have actually caught up with both Mikolev and Reba. There is a bit of contact between both Mikolev and Reba, and now Reba gets shuffled down to 5th place. There's another battle side by side between what should be Miyamoto and Turner once again, and now we see some tire wear at the back of the Formula Hololive car. You can see here there's a bit of wear on the back, but at the front there's a good amount of wear onto the front right as Miyamoto tries to steal position away from Michael Turner at turn 15. We're about to come through to the halfway portion of this race, and we're going to take another short break on around lap 28. We might just be able to return on lap 29 to return our commentary duties. Meanwhile, we have Mendez and Reba battling side by side. Rico Mendez wanting to put Reba down in a worse position than he would expect. And Bauer is definitely enjoying this just one by one, as well as Fabio Mendez and Daniel Bauer. Remember, Reba and the two Mendezes and Bauer, they have already pitted, and the guys in front have yet to pit. So traffic is currently playing a part. Well, not really lap cars, but faster cars versus slower cars. And now we have Svobodova battling between Ri Liu, and right now Ri Liu having that slight advantage. Decided to move down the inside by Hector Bembe, but I think he's a bit too far back, and he just has to bail out. Loses a good amount of time in the process. He's stuck in 20th. We have another switch of positions this time between John Mead and Robert Croatia exiting turn 7 and 8. Croatia with a good move down the outside line. It was on the inside line, but whatever the case is, a move nonetheless. And you can see here, Mead tries to defend his as few positions as he tries to defend as a lot of positions, as much positions as he can right now. And currently, he's trying to edge ahead of Kaczynski, defending against Kaczynski, and right now he's doing the best he can in that department. Miyamoto and Turner side by side once again. We're going on board Isakaji Mikolev. Olivares coming in into the pits. And you can see here the battle between the Watame and Noah cars are still rife. Miyamoto currently in the inside. Michael Turner on the outside. Oh, you can see, will there be some sabotage moves? No, there is not. Miyamoto is currently up to 2nd place. She's having the race of her life at the moment. She is currently sitting in a very decent position. You can see here Olivares and Mead coming into pit, and obviously they're going to lose a good amount of positions here, especially for those who have already pitted before. So some of these drivers are going to be losing out on a lot of positions, especially for Callum Gibbons, currently still out, not going to score a lot of points in this regard. So Daniel Bauer might still be in a very good position to win this Split A championship. We just need to wait until more drivers come into the pits. And as it stands, we have 10 drivers who have yet to come into the pit stops, excluding those who have retired from crashes. And in terms of the pacing between all of these drivers, they're doing very well. There are not many lap cars to consider, at least not at the at the end of this race, of course. So anyways, we're about to start lap 27 here, and you can see here Miyamoto just overtakes Takaboshi on the outside of turn 14, and now we have the Tsunamaki Watame Toyota powered Super Formula car. The Bard, the Sheep Bard, now leads at Sepang in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. But let's not count out the battle between Michael Turner and Mikolev just yet. We're going to start lap 28. We're going to start our break. We're going to resume our commentary duty on lap 29. We're seeing a good amount of battles here up front. Lap 29 have just started, and what a lap that has been. Lap 28 we've seen a lot of the battles here on lap 28. Kamina Riba getting up to 5th place right now. Now we get to see Sakaiji Mikola pitting. Mikola has made contact with what should be Michael Turner. And now, speaking of the drivers who have already pitted the battle for the net race lead, Corey Rico Mendez have now caught up to the back of the traffic in front of him. And it's not just Corey Rico Mendez. Now we are also going to include Fabio Mendez and Daniel Bauer. Remember, Daniel Bauer have already pitted, and Kamina Riba have yet to pit. So right now Bauer is going to try to steal as many positions as possible for him to steal the split A title away from Shazren Reza, from Calvin Gibbons, from Riba. And now we're seeing a side-by-side battle between Miyamoto and Takaboshi. But no one never mind that. It's a battle between Turner and Takaboshi. Takaboshi tries to dive down the inside to defend, but it just wasn't meant to be. And now you can see here Riba tries to hang around the outside to steal 3rd place. And now Riba is in a more comfortable position to try to hijack any opportunity by Gibbons and Bauer to win this Split A championship. And right now, with both Shazren Reza and Kyle Gibbons out of the points, with Kamina Riba still in the top 3, remember he's yet to pit, Riba is in a gross position to win the Split A title, but remember, he has to pit. And when he pits, he's going to definitely lose a lot of position. And you can see here the gap between Bauer and Riba. There's literally not much separating between them. And now we see Riba finally coming into the pits. And that puts him down. And in terms of net positions, Kamina Riba is not in title contention just yet. And as it stands, Daniel Bauer will be your Split AA champion. It has got to be one of the most improbable scenarios that we have seen up to this point. We have the top 3 in the title race currently down outside the top 15, which is currently mental if you want to come think about it. And right now, Riba coming into pit. Riba is currently what should be a net P12 in the in the Japan classifications. But meanwhile, we're going to be seeing some of the other battles here between Corey Rico Mendez and you can see a battling between Fabio Mendez here. You can see here's a battle between the net race leaders here. Corey Rico Mendez actually pushing Fabio Mendez onto the clutches of Daniel Bauer. Daniel Bauer tries to hang around the outside of turn 9. Corey Rico Mendez is currently Daniel Bauer's best friend. Daniel Bauer has got to be thanking Corey Rico for helping Daniel find an opportunity to get past Fabio. And right now, Daniel Bauer with I think the fresher tires, he's currently in position to probably take a position away from Keiko Takaboshi and Michael Turner. And right now, barreling down the main straight here, Ian versus ID. But meanwhile, there's also going to be another battle here between Rim Olgor and Fabio Mendes. Fabio Mendes is going to continue to fall down the order. He's going to go down to 7 at this rate with an amazing outside pass. Sorry, it's a pretty decent outside pass. It's a pretty decent outside line defense there by Fabio Mendes. But will it be for long? As you can see here, Fabio Mendes dives down the inside. Miyamoto coming into pit this lap. He's going to lose a lot of positions there. But coming to this middle stage of this race, and there has been contact between the 2 cars. But whatever the case is, Rim Olgor is now currently in 5th. In terms of drivers who are going to pit, in terms of drivers who are going to win this race, the current net battle is between Corey Rico Mendes and Daniel Bauer. Corey Rico Mendes is going to try his best to pass Keiko Takaboshi, but look at Daniel Bauer trying to dive down the inside of Corey Rico, and it looks like with a great pass down the inside of turn 7 and 8, Daniel Bauer has had his race in the bag, but not for long. As you can see here, Rim Olgor now finally comes in to challenge. Rim Olgor just had his first Hololive GT3 podium in his ARO career in Sepang last Saturday, and I think that was a third place finish, finishing behind Daniel Bauer and Callum Gibbons. Now Rim Olgor is going to try to steal a race win away from Daniel Bauer. And for Daniel Bauer, he's currently in a position where he's going to win the Split A Championship. Olivares and Bertelsen doing very well. Remember, Olivares have already pitted, and to see him inside the top 11 in position, that's got to be a pretty nice sight to see. Still, there's got to be so many things going on in this Sepang racetrack. I'm just unable to count. There's just so many things happening. But meanwhile, you can see here Bertelsen, I think, has yet to pit. And right now, his tires are so bad. Looking into Bertelsen, he has started on these tires, and right now the tires are basically crying for help, begging for mercy, begging to be put out of their misery. Especially look at the front right. That has got to be a lot of wear. And Hector Bembe coming into pit again. I think he's got issues with his car, and that would mean that both of the front row drivers, well, the drivers who started on the front row in the Formula Hololive Sepang Grand Prix race, is going to be retired. But meanwhile, you can see Corey Gimenez has also stolen back the provisional race lead away from Bauer, and manages to defend quite well. But this time, Bauer is going to be under pressure from Olgor. But Olgor is going to be under pressure from Fabio Mendes. Both of them still side by side, coming into turn 10, coming into turn 11. Olgor might have the inside line. Exciting racing here in Sepang, and it just keeps on giving. What more would you want to ask for from these cars, from these regulations, and from these livery sets? And meanwhile, you can see here Corey Mendes finally gets to clear Keiko Takaboshi off of her misery, but this would mean that Daniel Bauer would want to try to pass Keiko Takaboshi ASAP if he wants to have a chance at an overall class win. In the EN class win, he is definitely settled when it comes to where he's placed at the moment. Bauer is still going to be leading the net standings once Turner comes into pit. And right now, Turner have yet to pit. He's one of the last drivers who have yet to make a pit stop. Fumi is currently up to 7th place, but remember, he is also yet to pit. So let's see if this overcut strategy is going to pay a lot of dividends for the Tokinosora driver. In terms of traffic, there is Crystal Salomon. Here is Michael Turner. There basically is a long way to go until we're going to get to see some lap traffic play a role in this race. Liu battling Callum Gibbons. Callum Gibbons gets back into the top 15, but he's already inside the top 10 in the JP class standings. If we shuffle back here, you can see that Callum Gibbons is currently in 10th. And for the Yosuramel driver Daniel Bauer to win, he needs to hope that the Roboco car finishes 8th or lower. And currently in the Japan classification, Gibbons is currently in 10th. And with the Omar Polka car currently down in 9th, and also the Sakamata Chloe car basically in 11th, Daniel Bauer is in a position to still win the EN class championship, but I think it might be close. But we'll have to wait and see. Corey Rico Mendes currently leads the International Series list of drivers here. He currently leads in the EN class Takana Shikara car. And then we have Tiranos Bobodova making up the ID class lead at the moment. So that's Bobodova currently down in the lowly position of 16th. Raja Kaczynski finally coming into pit, one of the last drivers to come make a pit stop. Looking into Fumi and some of the other drivers here. Fumi have yet to pit. Michael Turner have yet to pit. They're going to pit in maybe in the next 8 laps. That is the current predictions. Ridu also might need to pit in the next few laps. Ethan Bertelsen is currently being called into pit stop as well. So yeah, a lot of things are currently happening here in Sepang. So many things are happening at one time. We just aren't able to properly follow every single one of them. We apologize for that as well. Daniel Bauer currently in third place, trying to find a way past Corey Rico Mendes to put a JP class car onto the top step. Will Daniel Bauer be able to do so? He might have, because looking into the pace differences, Bauer is still able to be under the back of Corey Rico. So Daniel just needs to keep his cool, just need to keep his composure, just need to keep his cup sense tingling. Coming off of turn 14, let's see if Bauer can try to have a good exit. We'll try to go around the outside, but that's not accruing to Bauer. But if it means that he might be better positioned for turn 15, that could do himself some favor. But now look at Fabio Mendes. Fabio Mendes is going to steal something away from Bauer. Bauer coming into the fan on the outside. Both of them not really wanting that position as it stands, because they know they've got to try to steal as many points as possible. And with Michael Turner coming into pit, Daniel Bauer is now leading in the JP class standings in the Japan in the Hololive Japan classification. There's been contact between the 54 and the 66. More battles. Yeah, you can see here Daniel Bauer has made a mistake. He's clipped the curb, has spun the car, has now dropped down to third. A crazy development here in the Formula Hololive scene, and as you can see here, that has not gone to plan for Bauer. And as it stands, with Bauer currently third in the overall standings, he will be up to 390 come the end of this race. But with Callum Gibbons currently in ninth, that should be 1, 4, 8, 14, 22, 32, 44, 57, 72. Gibbons is now in a position to win the Split A championship. Bauer needs to win this race if he wants to have his title hopes alive. Callum Gibbons is being relayed this information, and right now Callum Gibbons just needs to keep on chipping on the chances. Remember, we still have a few drivers who have yet to pit, Hofu Mi being one of them, and if Gibbons can steal a few more, a position or two more, Gibbons is going to be in a position to win the Split A championship instead. It's ebbing and flowing now in Callum Gibbons' favor. And right now, Bertelsen is currently at turn 7 and 8. The threat of lap cars are not rife as it stands. Bauer is looking to try to get past some of his Formula Hololive rivals like Rim Olgor and Corey Rico Mendes and Fabio Mendes. The current championship situation is in favor of Callum Gibbons. You can see here Takaboshi getting up a position, and that's only because Liu finally comes into the pits. He is going to consolidate the last place positions. He hasn't been at his best in Sepang in recent times, and now he's looking to finish outside the points. Corey Rico Mendes currently leads this overall standings for Takanashi Kiara. Takanashi Kiara, our energy is still very much alive. The KFP spirit is still up and running. Will there be more twists and turns in this championship battle? We are now over around 21 laps to go from deciding the Split A champion in Formula Hololive for the 2023 season. It's currently quite deep into nighttime here in Sepang. It's 10:30 p.m. local time, and right now, with the basically floodlights illuminating the circuit that has been installed a few years ago to accommodate night racing in Sepang, we are now looking at Corey Rico Mendes still leading this race for Takanashi Kiara. Rim Olgor is currently in third, chasing Fabio Mendes. Fabio Mendes, of course, represents Hakui Koyori. And then we have Rim Olgor representing Ozora Subaru. Daniel Bauer needs this win if he wants to basically have a shot of beating Callum Gibbons to the championship. And now Fumi coming into the pit. Callum Gibbons exits the final corner to come into the start-finish line. Oh, some close shades between some of the other drivers here, like Bertelsen and Kurwisha. This is one of the battles for the silver spoon for the last place positions. Kurwisha currently 22nd overall and currently 16th in class. But now we see Bertelsen trying to fight against Muazif. Man, it has been a crazy battle up to this point here. Anywhere you go, there's going to be some good amounts of racing here between multiple different types of cars. And looking at Olivares though, remember, he has already pitted quite early into this race. And now, with his pit stop prowess here, he's now currently up into a very high position, and by very high position, I mean he's currently inside the top 6. Look at the progress charts. He started 13th and is now up to 6th. But let's also not forget Jeremy Asim. He's also had a good amount of positions gained as well. But we also wanted to mention that Jeremy Asim have also pitted quite early in this race, if I'm not mistaken, and is currently good to go until the end of this race. So Asim is also another driver that should receive a few bits of accommodation. Meanwhile, Daniel Barger, 3 wide into turn 1. There's contact between Fabio Mendes and Daniel Bauer. That is Rim Olgor, and now Rim Olgor gets shuffled down to 3rd place in the JP class, 4th overall. Bauer now jumps up to 2nd. The battle is on for what should be a very interesting race. Daniel Bauer currently in 2nd place for Jose Ramel, which now means he'll be scoring 175 points from this race. And looking into the current title permutations, I don't think it's still going to be enough, because looking at the Japan class standings, Gibbons is in a position probably to win the title in what is probably in the most minimal way possible, because a win gives you 200, a 2nd place gives you 175, 3rd 150, 4th 130, 5th 108, and then 92 for 6th, and Gibbons will get 70. He will, if we calculate the final points positions after this race, if the race stops now, Daniel Bauer is going to be at 410 plus, 416 to be exact, but Callum Gibbons will be at 440. So at this point, it's still going in the way of Callum Gibbons. Now he needs to hope that Callum Gibbons drops down a few more positions, and for Daniel Bauer to jump up into the lead of the JP class, because right now it's not going the way of Bauer. And now Miyamoto gets shuffled down to 5th place in JP class against Michael Turner. But how long is it going to be? You can see here they're coming into turn 1. Miyamoto has the inside line. Oh, there's stall contact between the two cars. Oh, you can see here Turner losing just a bit there against Miyamoto, but I think he has the better momentum against Miyamoto coming into turn 4. Will there be a dive bomb? The answer is no so far. Now Fabio Mendes coming into the fray, into the battle against Corey Rico Mendes. The battle is currently very intense, and it's gonna be intensifying even further, knowing of the current championship battle between Callum Gibbons and the rest of the field. This is gonna be a very interesting fight to see, especially for the battle at the top of the JP classification. It gets crazier. Fabio Mendes tries to get close to Corey Rico, but then we also have Daniel Barger messing up his exit at turn 14, and that will open the door for Rim Olgo to steal a position, maybe. Dive bombing into the turn 15 final corner. And now, coming into the start of lap 40, 39 laps complete, we're seeing the two yellow Formula Hololive cars going neck and neck. One of them really wants to stretch the track limit and going off into the grass. As it stands, it's still Daniel Bauer with the 175 points. Oh, there's contact between Bauer and Olgor. I think Olgor got his nose stuck in just a bit. And that would mean that Olgor he has lost out a good amount of positions there. Well, lost a good amount of time there. He's now dropped down to 4th overall, 3rd in class. And now, looking at Daniel Bauer, he's currently in 3rd place. 2nd in class. He needs to overtake Fabio Mendes if he wants to have a shot of winning this Formula Hololive Japan title. And now you can see here, Fabio Mendes looks for a shot. No opening just yet. Daniel Bauer is looking for a shot. Breaking into turn 9. Just wanted to showcase you of the tire situation at the moment. Corey Rico Mendes has the worst tires than anyone so far. You can see here Rim Olgor tries to fight against Daniel Bauer. Oh, he takes the curb. He spins. Manages to catch the car. But he's lost a good amount of time. Meanwhile, Fabio Mendes steals the race lead away from Corey Rico Mendes after a very good outside move. Commiserations for Daniel Bauer as he tries to hang around against Rim Olgor, but he's clipped the inside curb too much, and that put him into a half spin. Nearly lost control he lost control of his car, but nearly spins out, but manages to save it. It's not lost on Bauer just yet. He knows he has a championship on the line, but as it stands, Calvin Gibbons is currently 8th, and I think as results would stand, it will be Calvin Gibbons' Formula Hololive. It will be Gibbons' Split 8. It will be Gibbons to take the Split 8 championship for Formula Hololive. Corey Rico Mendes now drops down to 2nd place in the overall roster. He's still leading in the international class, leads in the EN class. But look at this, Rim Olgor is looking to probably sniff an opportunity. Bobby Mendes, just wanted to clarify, now leads for Hakui Koyori. It's the first time the Hakui Koyori car has led a race here in both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive. All of the assistants have got to be pretty excited. And if I want to find someone that is also very excited about this opportunity, it's got to be Zeke Wimberly. Former driver for Hakui Koyori, he knew that just couldn't have what it takes to represent the wild coyote that is Koyori. Meanwhile, we have Corey Rico Mendes falling down a lot more. Remember, the tire fall-off is really showing up, but Corey Rico Mendes is going to try to fight Rim Olgor once again. That might open up the opportunity for Daniel Bauer to steal maybe another few positions. The battles just keep coming. We have mentioned about this a few times now. And now Mendes is going to try to hang on for dear life in this overall run. And right now Daniel Bauer is going to try to pick up the scraps. Looking at Fabio Mendes right now, he has had a pretty decent race at the moment. If you want to look into his, especially his progress chart, he started 4th and is now into the race lead. Remember, the biggest gainer has got to be Jeremy Assam, who I think should be his final Formula Hololive race for Ninomaya Nanis. He's doing very well there. He has started 18th, it's now up to 5th. Definitely a commendable run for the Vietnamese driver. No threat of lap cars just yet. You can see all of us trying to look for an opportunity to pass Asa, but now we're looking for 3 wide. I think there has been contact between Miyamoto and Turner. But somehow, all of the cars remain pointed at the right direction. But meanwhile, Santi Olivares is looking into the thick of things against Turner. Olivares now jumps at the 6. Now, Corey Rica Mendes drops down to 4th place. It's now an all JP class. 1, 2, 3. With Fabian Mendes looking to take control of this race, we're going to go for one final break in this race to decide who is going to be the Split A champion. Welcome back here at Sepang, and you can see here a chain reaction of events. Reba against Turner, that forces Reba just a bit off, and that pushes Kayumov off wide into turns 14, and that will mean Cal Gibbons have now into a guaranteed championship winning spot, and now Callum Gibbons from 8th to 6th in just a matter of a few laps. This means that Callum Gibbons is, if you have any lingering doubt about Callum Gibbons' championship, then surely now all of the arguments have been long gone, because Callum Gibbons is currently in that safe spot to be a guaranteed champion here in Split A. If he can stay in 6th place, Callum Gibbons will be champion regardless of where everyone else will finish. Another turn of events, another crazy development coming into this race, and now it's just insane. And now we have Swobodova and me trading blows between each other into the final stages of this race. Oh, a bit of a shuffling down between these two drivers. They're still side by side into turns 5 and 6. Mead against Swobodova. Mead now jumps in front. John Mead currently in 17th, and now there's more battles between Mikolev and Suharto. Suharto, after having that spin earlier in this race, have now definitely recovered into the mid-pack. He's currently in 14th place. At the Bembe, we have confirmed that he has had some incidents somewhere, and it will be investigated, and we'll check the replays after the race. Meanwhile, there's more battle here between Callum Gibbons and Sergei Kayumov. Sergei Kayumov is going to put Callum Gibbons down a few positions. Currently, Gibbons is 6th in the JP class. There's a 3 wide action, maybe. There could be some side-by-side action, as you can see here. Oh, it's a double side-by-side battle here. We can see here Kayumov against Callum Gibbons here, side-by-side. Callum Gibbons is going to be shuffled down to 7, but it's still okay for Gibbons, as he's still in a guaranteed championship position. Kayumov's not close enough. Gibbons retains his championship hope. So many things happening here in Sepang. We just can't catch every single one of the more battles at the back. And as you can see here, Isakaji Mikalev is currently edging ahead of Suharto. And you can see here momentarily there was some of the other battles at the back. But here comes more. As you can see here, Takaboshi tries to have a look against Kaminari Riba for 11th place overall. Coming into turn 6. Ooh, another side-by-side battle between Gibbons and Assam. Gibbons is going to try to be as relevant in this race as possible. He's not relevant when it comes to the current race win, but he's relevant in this championship battle. He's currently 6th in the JP class, and now that more or less guarantees Gibbons is split a championship triumph. Bauer can do whatever he wants. He can win this race, but as long as Gibbons does not push himself down into a position below Suharto, he is currently safe from any championship danger as Gibbons looks to secure a double for Roboco. Michael Turner in 7th place, hanging on for whatever he has. He's currently sitting 5th in the JP class. You can see here more side-by-side battle between Takaboshi and Riba. 2 red cards with 2 black noses. Riba might just be able to steal the inside line. The Formula 2 cars are noted to be faster on the straights, but the Super Formula cars are very agile in the corners, so you have these contrasting driving traits of these 2 cars, and look at these come into absolute fruition. You can see here Jeremy Azim is actually trying to provide some defensive support for Takaboshi, and as you can see here now Kaczynski comes into the mix because you can see here Riba and Suharto come into the fray once again. Lap 46 of 56 right now, just around 11 laps to go. As you can see here, Kaczynski gets shuffled down a few positions here against Suharto and Mikalev, and sooner or later Fumi. More battles at the front. Takaboshi has gained ahead of Assam, and Suharto have passed Kaminari Riba. The battle just coming, and I think there's contact. Oh, Fumi gets spun, and he's off the track. He has retired. What a massive crash that was. And I think there has been contact between Fumi and another driver. We're going to be taking a look at some of the instant replays. Oh, I think there has been contact between John Mead and Ho Fumi. And as you can see here, Mead has got some damage, although it's not really visible here, but he did make contact against Fumi coming into turn 9. Again, there's a lot of cars in there. It's just chaos all around. Another side-by-side battle here between Mead and Bertelsen. Bertelsen steals the position away. Gets up to 16th. More battles here between Miyamoto and Olivares. Olivares looking to find a spot against the Tsunamaki Watame driver. The driver representing Guatemala from Mexico, Santi, is looking to try to put his car into the top 5. It's just manic. We are nearing the end of this race. 10 laps to go, and we have confirmation that Fumi have retired in this retired from this race. That's just crazy to looking into these few accidents. But anyways, we're looking into more battle here. Kaczynski and Bertelsen trade blows once again. Kaczynski now stays up to 15th place, and you can see here Michael Turner tries to hang around the outside against Olivares. Olivares drops down to 7th place. As you can see here, he's still in the EN class 2nd place. But for the EN class win, it goes down to Corey Rico. Takaboshi is looking to secure the ID class win at this rate. 48 laps it's now lap 48 to 56. 47 laps complete. More side-by-side battles this time between Bertelsen and Kaczynski. Bertelsen on the left, Kaczynski on the right. Oh, there's a bit of a argy-bargy between the two, but eventually Bertelsen will just have to concede. And again, there just is no end. There just isn't any end to anything here in Sepang and Formula Hololive. There's just a lot of action here. So many things going on at this time of this closing stages of this. The closing stages of this race. Apologies for the stutter again. One-man booth just doesn't work. Kaczynski against Bertelsen again. This time Kaczynski on the inside of turn 2. Whoa, there's a bit of contact between Kaczynski and Bertelsen. Bertelsen was ahead, so Kaczynski will have to yield. But unfortunately, there isn't any much front wing damage. Kaimov coming into the frame against Callum Gibbons. Callum Gibbons just needs to stay where he needs to be. If he somehow crashes at this late stage of this race, he is not going to be the Formula Hololive Split A champion of 2023. Well, Formula Hololive Japan Split A champion of 2023. But you get my point. Gaps open up between Mendes, Olgor, and Bauer. Note that we have these 2 podium positions set in stone. Bobby Mendes is looking to secure his first win in the ARO. That it will be at the Formula Hololive competition, representing Hakui Koiri. He's going to be doing something Zeke Wimberley had not done yet during his time representing both Koiri and Mio. And that's the win for Deroshi. And it's going to be an amazing sight to see nonetheless. Aziz Moazev is currently barreling down turn 7 and 8. Fabio Mendes is currently looking to be in turn 7 and 8. So there might be some lap cars, but it will be a bit small, so there will not be too much issues here. Bauer is still hanging on to third place, not enough for him to win the Split A championship, as they'll still go to Callum Gibbons. Just wanted to confirm everyone of the Formula Hololive International standings. Out of 7 drivers, currently leading is Corey Rico Mendes for Takanashi Kiara. Olivar is currently hanging around in second place for Watson Amelia, and farthest ID class car in this race so far is Keiko Takaboshi in third place, third in the International Series podium, and also the first in the Indonesia class. And that is only for the Formula Hololive International. But for Formula Hololive Japan, remember, as we've mentioned here before, Callum Gibbons, if he finishes 7th or above, he will be guaranteed a Split A win, regardless of where everyone will finish. That is assuming Shazren Reza doesn't score any points. And right now, Bauer, to high as he might, he is unable to get himself into a leading position, but even then it's not going to be enough because Callum Gibbons is currently 6th in the JP class. 49 laps complete here at Sepang International Circuit. The Sepang Grand Prix Split A race will soon come to its conclusion, and Callum Gibbons is looking to secure his 2nd consecutive Split Championship in just over a week. And representing the same VTuber as Roboco. And now you will see Kasari Kayama looking to maybe dive down the inside against Callum Gibbons. Yes, there is a mood, but now Kayama will have to think about defending against Takaboshi. Takaboshi looking to find some space, but there is not enough. And now Gibbons stays ahead. Takaboshi now overtakes Kayama, but will Kayama come up with a response? There will be none. Takaboshi hangs on to 9th place. Tirana Spovodova being overtaken by Robert Kurisha, as does Liu. So many things going on. There has been a lot of things. So let's just go take a short break, but not a commentary break, that is. Right now, looking into this current race for whatever we have, Gibbons and Takaboshi are getting pretty close between each other, actually, as you can see here. Ooh, Takaboshi with an amazing, not exactly an amazing turns 13 and 14, but it is pretty decent. Is Takaboshi is gonna try to hang on around Callum Gibbons on the inside. Yes, she does. Will she give enough cause for concern for Gibbons? The answer is maybe not, but remember these F2 cars are faster on the straight line. Remember, we're currently at lap 51. 6 laps to go here in Sepang. Gibbons might just be able to respond. Oh, there's contact between the two, and that's gonna cause some sidewalk damage to Takaboshi. But now these drivers are still gonna be side by side coming into turn 3. And now with Takaboshi trying to extend track limits as much as she can, she'll hang around the outside of turn 4, which should be a better line when it comes to defense. And now Takaboshi is looking to put Gibbons down back to 9th. And now Miyamoto and Turner, or rather Turner and Corey Rico Mendes. Corey Rico Mendes just continues to fall down in this race. Who knows, maybe Santi Olivares might be able to catch up. And Santi Olivares might be the one that wins the EN class and the International Series class. Miyamoto currently in 4th place. Michael Turner currently in 5th. As you can see here, Kayumov and Suharto, that is who Daniel Bauer is hoping, as well as Isakaji Mikalev and Kaminari Riba. If they can steal more points away from Callum Gibbons, that would mean Daniel Bauer will win the championship. But right now, they're on a battle of their own, especially for Suharto, who's going to try to steal away a position from Kayumov. Kayumov has a better exit there off of turn 15, despite Suharto going on the inside line. But Suharto has the slipstream. Both of them have the slipstream, but I think both of them are side by side. And look at Kayumov trying to challenge Callum Gibbons from somewhere. Ooh, Suharto got a bit messy there, but I don't think it's going to be enough to cause too much concern. And now looking at Suharto. Was looking for an opportunity to get past Kayumov but Gibbons. Suharto is still looking for that top 10 finish given the performance of this car. He knows he should be competing for a top 5 position, but it just wasn't forthcoming. And right now, looking into Olivares and Mendez's gap, the gap has now closed down to 4.8 seconds. Olivares might just be in a position to win the EN class and the International Series class, for that matter. Anyways, 4 laps to go here in Sepang. Fabio Mendes still owning this race. No more pit lane activity as it stands. Everyone is still basically calming down for the first time in quite some time, honestly. And now Takaboshi is looking to find a way past Santi Olivares for 2nd place in the EN class. Both of them are catching up to Corey Rico Mendes, who have lost a good amount of tires, who have lost a good amount of grip, and have lost a good amount of lap time as well. Callum Gibbons, will he be under pressure from Suri Kayumov once again? The answer is going to be maybe no. We're looking at Kayumov's gap. The gap is definitely closing down, but will it be sufficient? Takaboshi now coming down to the inside line. Will she line up a move against Olivares? Yes, a bit of argy-bargy. Santi Olivares a bit of the inside line, but Takaboshi manages to steal 2nd place away from Olivares. Both of these tires are dead. Meanwhile, again, for Gibbons, Kayumov, and Suharto, it's not lost on them for them to steal maybe a few more positions. But then again, let's also take a look at some of the other drivers here as well. Tristan Salomon was last at one point. He's now recovered back up to 17th. Now at this point, we're at a position where all of the 15 finishers in the JP class are to be guaranteed points. Liu will get 1 point, Croatia will get 4, Salman will get 8, etc. And now Callum Gibbons is currently being placed down a position. But manages to get himself back up to 9th place. Mikkel and Suharto battling side by side. Suharto isn't giving up on the battle for 10th place. But now with Mikkel coming into the mix, we have now gotten into 3 laps to go here in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. Oh, nearly contact and nearly a half spin for Mikolev. Reba looking to find some space, some opportunities. He's currently 10th in the JP class, looking to find some chances. Ooh, a bit of an inside move there by Juan Suharto against Sergei Kayamov for Juan Suharto to try to get himself into the top 10. It gets pretty calm from here, but then again, we're looking at Takaboshi, who's now caught up to Corey Rico Mendes. Can Corey Rico hang on to this international class win? Bertelsen and Riba trading blows between each other. Coming on to turn 4. Ooh, Riba's really getting close there onto Bertelsen. Will he make a move? No, he cannot. We're about to pass 300 kilometers of race distance, and now there's even more battle here because Kayamov and Gibbons are trading blows once again. This side, Juan Suharto and Sakai Mikalev might just sniff an opportunity, but they're not close enough because Kayamov needs to defend against Suharto and Mikalev. And as it stands, she is able to do such defense. We're now at the penultimate lap of this race for Fabio Mendes. For Hakui Korori still maintains control of this race. When talked about of his status of living, he's just killing time. He said he's not really living. He's just killing time for something else. But something else might just be his way into his first win in Formula Hololive. And what a way to bring himself into the record books. For the first time in aero history, a Hollox car might just be in the books to win here in Formula Hall. Like here we see Gibbons and Kayamov battling side by side once again, and it looks to me it will be the first time since the Fuji Split B race that anyone other than Shazren or Shakiv have won a Formula Hololive race. Kayamov and Suharto battling side by side for what should be 10th place. Callum Gibbons still remains virtually untouchable. But looking into the JP class battles here, Shazren Reza obviously has retired from this race after some crazy issues with his car at the start. Forces him to stay out of this race. He was the inside looking out, but now he's currently on the outside looking in when it comes to the Split A Championship. Fabio Mendes is about to cross the line to start the final lap of his, well, probably his best race yet. Fabio Mendes, representing Hakui Koiri, is looking to be on course to win his first Formula Hololive race, his first win for the ARO, the first win for a Hollox member, and so on and so forth. But for Daniel Bauer, he's only going to be good on taking, he's only going to be taking what should be a consolation prize, because he is going to be missing out on the Split A title to Callum Gibbons, who is currently 6th in the overall, in the JP class standings, 9th overall. And since we're already looking at JP classifications, if this continues, Callum Gibbons will be the Split A champion. Yuval Kayamov and Suharto battling side by side into turn 15 for what should be the starter final laps. And again, we have Aziz Mazif going down a lap. That won't be too much of an issue for some of these drivers, for the top 4 at least. Ooh, there's some side-by-side battles continuing between Suharto and Kayumov, and then Mikolev and Bertelsen. We can't, and just want to remind to everyone that we cannot share the final Split A standings, at least live on stream. We're gonna be posting it on the Adak-RMS Twitter for that to happen. But anyways, Fabio Mendes, mayonnaise is an instrument. It's time for Koyori's experiment to finally take off. Fabio Mendes, for the first time in his ARO career, will take his first win in Formula Hololive representing Hakari Koyori. First win for Hakari Koyori. First win for Holux. But with Bauer finishing third, he needs to hope that Callum Gibbons suddenly crashes. But right now, it's not happening right now. Miyamoto secures her best ever Formula Hololive finish up to this point, fourth. Rim Olgo also secures a pretty decent finish in second. Michael Turner will cross the line in fifth place in the JP class, and overall, what should be a very good performance for him. Another top 5 here in Sepang. Very good stuff from him. Keiko Takaboshi is looking on course to win the international class. Win in the international class. Corey Rico Mendes is looking to win in the EN class, and right now he has a lot of drivers in his way. But look at Santi Olivares diving down the inside for a last lap pass. Will it be enough? We'll have to wait and see, but right now our eyes are going to be at Callum Gibbons. Near perfect season all around, and with a 6th place finish in the JB classifications, he is your winner. He wins the Split A title in the 2023 Formula Hololive Split season here in the Sepang Grand Prix. And let's also not forget Fabio Mendes winning the Sepang Grand Prix as well. We have a lot to cover here in the post-race build-up. Looking at Svoboda and Assam, the last few drivers to cross the line. Fumi, Bembe, and especially Shazren Reza. Shazren Reza has got to be ruining this opportunity again. That's his second race in Sepang in a row where he misses out on the championship, but this time it's in extreme circumstances. And with this race, we are finally able to conclude the Split A season in Formula Hololive. And with that, Callum Gibbons is your winner of the Split A championship here in the 2020 Formula Hololive Japan Series. So let's take a look into the results here. Fabio Mendes scores his first win for Hakari Koyori in Formula Hololive. Congratulations to him. Rim Olgor second place for Ozaras Boru. Also good job for him. Daniel Bauer for Yos Ramel finishes third. Congratulations to him as well. Although it has to come close, basically. A bridesmaid, a runners-up to Callum Gibbons. Well, we need to probably check the final standings after this. Makoto Miyamoto, 4th for Tsunamaki Watame, best ever finish in Formula Hololive. Congratulations to her. Michael Turner, 5th for Shirogane Noel, doing very well to continue his top 5 streak in Sepang. Keiko Takaboshi wins in the international class. Good stuff from her, and winning the ID class. Koya Rico Mendes for Takanashi Kiara, very good debut, finishes 2nd. Well, let's also not forget Keiko Takaboshi. She wins on her debut as well. Corey Rico Mendes, 2nd place. Awesome stuff. Santi Olivares finishes 3rd in the international podium in his probably best race yet. Cal Gibbons is currently the star of the race here, finishing a respectable 9th, 6th in class. And this means that he is your 2023 Formula Hololive Japan Split A champion. Wawan Suharto manages to complete his comeback after his spin earlier in this race. He finishes 10th. Ethan Bertelsen, Suri Kayumov doing very well to have their own good races, especially for Ethan Bertelsen, for Nana Shimume. Suri Kayumov doing very well for Lapis Darkness, but then she had to miss out on a few positions. Sakai Jimikolev and John Mee make up 13 and 14, representing Miko and Hachima. Raj Kaczynski, Kaminari Reba finished 15 and 16 for Yutsuki Choko and Omar Pogo respectively. Chris Salome and Robert Kurowisha, a Polish 17-18 for Aski and Takani Lui respectively. Ryu and Tirana Swobodova in 19th and 20th. They represent Sakamata Chloe and Irony of 15. And then we have Jeremy Assam for Ninamai and Nanis. He was pretty okay, but then he realized he had to pit again. So, basic commiserations. Asim Mazev is the last finisher. He's the first guy a lap down for Ayunda Risu. Anyways, Hofumi having that spectacular crash on lap 46. We're gonna need to take a look back as well. Bembe, I think, has an accident in lap 29, so also want to pay attention to that as well. And Shazren Reza, one of the guys who have to rue this race the most. He has the race on his in the bag, but it just didn't accrue. So let's get into intermission and see what just goes on that race, because it has been very messy for some of the drivers, especially for Shazren Reza. So let's take a look into this replay. So right here we have the replay here. Shazren Reza currently starts. And right now we're looking into maybe the start procedures. So here is the start procedure, and here's what happens. And you can see here Shazren Reza just has a problem turning left as the car just veers right, and everyone just bunches up. There has been a bit of contact at the start. Just isn't able to get himself back into a decent position here. So we're gonna go into the onboard of Relay to see what happened. So let's go on board him. So this is Relay's onboard at the start. And as you can see here, there's Shazren Reza at the front. And of course he has to see the carnage unfold in front. And as you can see here, he had to plow into the back of some of the other drivers here. But actually, it is one of the better race attempts. As you can see here, Shazren Reza just really wanting to get his car turned back into the right side, but it just didn't accrue. It just didn't come up for him, and that just is very much heartbreaking for Shazren to lose the championship like this. But that's not the only championship that we have to talk about. That's not the only way to lose a race, because let's take a look into Hector Bembe, especially because let's see what happened to Bembe on this lap. Here, I think he was battling against Ryu, his fellow Gen 3 teammate. Man, the Iroha and Chloe ship, it doesn't really work. And you can see Hector Bembe. Oh, that's his mistake. Hector Bembe. Oh, gets off to the gravel trap. He shouldn't have gone off like that. And that will be the end of his race on lap 29. Just crazy stuff all around. And you can see here, let's see another replay. Hector Bembe trying to battle against Ryu. Goes off too wide at turn 11. Paid the price. Got beached into the gravel. No longer able to continue. But that's not the biggest crash we've seen in this race so far. Far from it. Because we're going to take a look into Fumi and see how his race currently unfolds. Because we're going to go take a look into John Meads' point of view. Again, we want to mention the championship result will not be shown at the end of this stream. We will be posting it on Adak-RMS Twitter, because right now we have both the EN class cars inside the top 15, and that is not going to give us an accurate representation of the championship order. But anyways, here's a look in John Mead and Hofumi. Fumi went into a space that just isn't there, but just crazy stuff. And then Fumi just gets teleported off the track here. You can see here. Okay, so let's take a look into how Fumi and John Mead. Let's take a look into Fumi's camera. Oh, I think he turned on to John Mead, and he gets turned, clips in onto the curb, and clips on into the wall, and then goes off bounds. So we're gonna go for another onboard here just to see how it goes for some of the other drivers, especially for, let's see, Ethan Bertelsen. Let's see onboard him. Here's Ethan Bertelsen's onboard. Oh, you can see here. Oh, goes down. Typical set of Corsa stuff. It happens. So let's take a look at John Meads' onboard. As you can see here, Fumi was literally trying to look at Fumi, and now Fumi was trying to find a way past Fumi, but Fumi isn't giving him too much space, and oh, that's just nasty. So let's take a look back into where Fumi's is on board. Let's go for a front view. gets teleported into another dimension there. Anyway, let's go into the rear end camera. Oh, just crazy stuff all around. So anyways, we're gonna be showing you off the Split A trophy on who it belongs to. Well, we can definitely tell you that it now belongs to Callum Gibbons for his contributions up to this point. Congratulations to Callum Gibbons for winning the Split A championship. We're now going to be taking a look into the permutations for Split B to see what the 5 contenders in Split B need to do for each of them to win the overall Split Championship in addition to the Split B title. So with that out of the way, we're going to be ending the stream here. I'm Mama Shazren in the commentary booth, and I hope every one of you all have enjoyed this race in Sepang. It's the Sepang Grand Prix. It's the round 4 of the season, the Split A title decider here in Sepang International Circuit. Good night to everyone.